Hey everyone, Catch 'em All Collectibles here. In today's video, we are going to talk about how market price is still not a thing in Pokemon. That said, feel free to DM me, email me, reach out to me. I am buying all your liquid stuff. I will talk about what I mean by that. I'm buying all your liquid stuff at 70 to 85% of market price. I just said it's not a thing, and I said I'm buying your products, your items at some percent of this thing that doesn't exist. So, Dan, what do you mean? I will tell you what I mean in the video. 2 years ago, I think the video still holds up really well. I sold some trophy cards to TCA Gaming, and I talked in that video about how there was no such thing as a market price for those cards, very niche items. Seller and buyer just have to agree on a price. The more liquid you get, the more generally modern, the higher pop, the higher sales volume that you get with some of this stuff, the more reasonably you have a market price, a fixed number and or a tighter range. Let's just get into it. I'm rambling a lot for a minute here. Let's show the actual information. Twilight Masquerade, TCGPlayer listing for it. You can see 30, 70, 80. These are the amount of items sold within a 2 or 3 day span. You can see that 2,210 of these have been sold in 3 months. This is a highly liquid, highly transacted item that I generally will buy in that 70 to 85% range. Some people will hit me up when I say, hey, I'm buying all your slabs, I'm buying all your singles, I'm buying all your sealed at 75%, 80, 85%, depending on cash flow, depending on how badly I need inventory. The price will vary. So feel free to DM me, feel free to reach out on what you have, and I can let you know where we fall in that range. But I'm not going to pay 85% on something that is like a mid-era collection box that maybe one sold 17 months ago on eBay, and we're not even sure whether it was paid or not. I've talked about the issue with comp culture, the issue with you don't really know how many of these items are actually paid. I wish eBay, I wish these different websites would be better. I think Fanatics will remove it from the sales history if it hasn't been paid, but I've noticed from my own personal sales, it shows it in the sales history for that first 2 week period when I may or may not have gotten a payment, and then only later on, only data that's like 3 weeks out plus on Fanatics can you be really mostly sure that it has actually been paid. But when you have hundreds or thousands of transactions within days, weeks, months, you can be quite confident maybe some of these are invalid, maybe some of these were canceled, refunded, but it's going to be pretty good overall. One thing that's always annoying with TCGPlayer, every data compilation website I have little nitpicks with, little grievances with, or maybe major ones. Why does TCGPlayer allow people to list Night Wanderer booster boxes, Japanese booster boxes on the English listing? Why are people listing 36 loose packs for these sets? Like, it muddies up the data, it muddies up the information. You'll never have any website that compiles perfect information, so always be wary of that. Market price does not exist. It's tighter. It exists more for more transacted, high volume, high liquidity items. But these things are non-fungible. These things are not $100 bills where both of them hold the same mutually agreed upon fixed value, fixed price. These things are collectibles. These things are non-fungible. One box is not like the other. There might be minor dings, tear in the wrapper, whatever it may be. But let's go into some slabs. So I'm a huge fan of alt.xyz. It is a data compilation website. You can see all the data points that they pull in. Note, again, no data compilation service is perfect. This is not an exhaustive list. We don't necessarily know that all these were paid. The eBay might have been paid, might have been canceled, might have not been. When you see a Fanatics one that is over a month old, theoretically, they remove all the ones that are not paid, but for whatever reason, they put them in there for the first 2 weeks after. For the night that they sell, they put them in there, even before they're paid. But yeah, one thing I like about these data compilation websites, I like how they just put it all in front of you quickly. I don't have to go to eBay, Heritage, Gold, and Fanatics. I don't have to go to all these different websites to see what's active on the market and to see what's been sold recently. And you can actually click into the listings there. I didn't mean to do that. I thought I was in OBS. I was trying to scroll over like that. But anyways, yeah, you can see with a card like this, you can see with the Umbreon VMAX, I mean, you've got all your data. You've got kind of the best fit curve. I'm not a huge fan of it. I wish Alt would just present the data, but they do go one step further. They declare what they call an alt value. they cover it in green. They color it in green because they're medium confidence in that. They say that the value is between 948 and 1552. I would rather they stay away from putting one singular number, but a lot of websites do. Alt is not alone. I will show you a couple of other ones that I use. But yeah, there's the number for Umbreon VMAX. I think my tabs are actually out of order. We'll see how well I can navigate trying to find the next Umbreon VMAX that I had ready. But 1213 is what they call it. Feels reasonable, feels fair to me. You can see what the actual things were, maybe a little bit low on the very, very recent ones, but you can see where it falls in this graph, and you can kind of see if you like it or not. I personally, when I pay 70 to 85%, I do not use the alt value as gospel. I do not use the Pokedata, the TCG fish. I do not use any singular data point as any singular algorithmically determined number as gospel. I will always do my own stuff. Like if you reached out to me with one of these or several of these, I would probably do something like take the average of the last 5 sold, and I'd pay you 80% of that, or 75-80% of that. Again, depending if I've just bought or graded 10 Moonbreons, I'm not going to be as compelled to pay a high percentage as if I don't have any in stock. As of today, as of right now, I don't have any in stock, so I'll pay 80% of the average last 5 sold on Moonbreon if you are interested. So there is alt. Now we have, who do we have? This looks like TCG fish. So this is the Gengar VMAX. Where are we? Sorry, I do not have my things in order. I knew I had more. I knew I had more Umbreon VMAXs to show you. Alt called it low 1200s. This is Pokedata. Pokedata is calling it 1274. Again, I don't like that they come up with a singular fixed number. I think certain people will pay a certain percentage of alt, certain people will pay a certain percentage of Pokedata. I will show you why I have an issue with doing that. I will show you why I just use these as data compilers. One, because the numbers just vary. I don't know if alt is consistently high or low, and Pokedata is consistent. I don't really know the relative relations to each other. The main thing that I do is I use them to put all the data in one area, and I really like it. This one actually goes so far to show you the listing ID and the seller. You can see a bunch of Probstein. If you scroll far enough, you can see Arizona TCG. I'm sure you can see ZNG Emporium, maybe on occasion a Catch 'em All Collectibles. But this one, there's a ZNG Emporium. I don't think this one pulls in Fanatics though, so I do like how alt picks up Fanatics, Gold, and Heritage. Pokedata might just be eBay. I'm not entirely sure. eBay, Card Market, TCGPlayer, as it shows right there. And then another one, a bit more old school one, maybe not used as commonly as the others, but PokemonPrice. I believe all this one does, 215 Umbreon VMAX is our Moonbreon, 1285. This just takes the last sale. This isn't doing anything algorithmically. This is literally just taking the last sale, which I tend to prefer. It's weird how it jumps like several months at a time and it picks up a few data points here and there. I think this website isn't fully maintained these days, but it is still. It has all the new sets. It has some amount of data coming in, just some of the ones that I've used over the years. Let's go back and let's look at alt, and we'll talk about why I don't like using alt's algorithmically determined value as gospel. Here again, you see all the data points. If you look at that pretty closely, I mean, I can't do a best fit in my head. I don't know what the R squared value is for this best fit. It seems low though, doesn't it? Like, why does it seem like it's not really hugging these properly? It seemed like it was holding on the Umbreon ones a bit better. This one, not so much. Let's see, and here's further context too. So here is a full art Mario Pikachu. The last one was just the half art Mario Pikachu. What are all these outliers way on the downside? Sometimes they are potentially malicious things. Like, I don't know what this person on eBay was doing. I do not believe this was a real transaction. Someone sold one, a PSA 10 full art $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 PSA 10 card for $22.75. Buy it now. I do not believe that was actually real. Even if it was though, this could have been legitimate. This could have been valid. Maybe someone had one that they paid $100 for several years ago. Yes, they used to go for $100. If one person had one card that they bought, buy it now, sold for $22.75, that could happen. Someone ill-informed, not sure of what the price is. That's not actionable. That's where I go to say market price is not a thing. Say someone had 10 of these and for the community, they decided to sell them for $1,000 a piece. That is not actionable by anyone else aside from those 10 lucky people who took part in those transactions. So just because prices transacted at a certain price point doesn't mean you have the ability as a buyer to buy again at those old prices, old or new prices, and nor does it mean as a seller you have the ability to get that price. Like say I auction one and it goes for $7,000 out of nowhere and it gets paid. You can't really action that. I did it. The buyer bought it. That buyer might now be out of the pool. Maybe they want only one. Maybe they do want 10, and maybe you will be able to sell them at the same price or potentially higher. But like I'm going to show you further like in the weeds, further nuance. These are two sales that I made through Fanatics. This one is 100% confirmed paid. Interestingly enough, again, talking about alt not being perfect, my $6,000 Fanatics sale does not show up in the history. My $6,000 Fanatics sale confirmed paid because I am the seller of that. I know that it got paid. It happened on August 4th. For whatever reason, alt missed it. Or wait, did they miss it? August 4th. I apologize, alt. You did not miss it. August 4th, $6,000. It's right there. I might have to slide a little bit. So my bad. It is there. The 6,000 is there. But like then just a few weeks later, so valid data point, it is captured. Great job, alt, for scraping that properly. This one, same card, few weeks later, 4,920. Why so much less? Even if it was the same normal card, cards can fluctuate plus or minus 10, 20, 30%. It absolutely can and does happen all the time. My video I made 2 years ago that I linked earlier, I talked about and I showed examples where cards that generally sold for $1,250, $1,250 might have sold on a given day for $1,000 and on another day for $1,500. That's just the way the market works. That's the way collectibles, non-fungible items work. But something is up with this Mario Pikachu. This one is not yet confirmed paid, so I don't know if this is a real data point yet as I record on September 1st at nearly midnight. I'm recording this only a little bit more than 12 hours before you're watching it. But if you watch it when it came out, it's super sun faded. I don't know if this one will get paid, but alt doesn't know that it's sun faded. If you look at it, if you verify, if you vet the comps, if you vet the data points with your own eyes, you can verify quickly that the 2275 likely wasn't real. And even if it was, they're selling it for less than half of what it's gone for recently. It's not actionable, even if it's real in some ways. Even if if a Mario Pikachu did ship and go to a new owner for that price, it's not actionable. It factors into the algorithm. Clearly, it's pulling down heavily. It's that flyer. It's that super outlier data point. And I would not pay you 80% for Mario Pikachu. I would not pay you $3,200. I mean, I would love to in some ways. I would love to buy one for $3,200. But if you came to me with this card, I mean, I would look. I know I sold one for $6. I know I sold a sun faded one for almost $5 that might not get paid. You see a couple other auctions here, Heritage, whatever it may be. I would look at the last 5 sold, and I would pay about 80% of the last 5 sold. I would not use alt's number. It is an imperfect thing. I know what they're trying to do. I kind of get it. But if you look at, they have a high confidence that the card is between 35.62 and 45.21. I have a high confidence that it's higher than that. I will pay you. So alt, I will pay you on, I don't have unlimited money. I will buy up to 10 Mario Pikachu Full Art PSA 10s at $4,500 a piece. You are confident they're worth that, in that range, I will buy them from you right now. I don't know if anyone from alt is watching. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But that would be, I'm buying your Mario Pikachus at $4,500. Feel free to reach out to me if you have them. Let's continue on from there after that nice little rant. Again, just showing, don't live or die by the numbers. Well, I love data compilation. I don't know how to scrape. I don't know how to program. I don't know how to do all that stuff. What is going on with this best fit line? I'm not going to pay you 80% of 515. The line is below all the data points. This is not a proper best fit line. Something is broken. There are maybe 1 or 2 data points that are slightly lower than that, but you can see all the recent comps are happening. 590, 630, 620, 600. I've sold some of these recently, 600 to 620. For whatever reason, it's calling it 515. Some people definitely do pay 80% alt value. I don't pay 80% alt value. I use alt to get the recent comps, and I'm going to pay you on the average of the last 5. But if it's something that's only sold one time in the past year, one time in the past 2 years, I'll actually show you right now quickly because we're talking about it. Look at the little meme that I threw, the John Travolta, what's going on here, Pulp Fiction meme. This Team Rocket Returns Reverse Hollow Raticate. This is a post I made on Instagram. Which one would you rather buy? I sold the Raticate at $345, and on the same day I sold the Lugia V at $350. But look what's going on. The alt value called it 146. There was not a single comp. Where's the alt value coming from? Maybe it's taking the 9 sales and extrapolating up. maybe it's taking a data point that we can't see. All only shows us a year. So maybe it's taking a data point from 2 years ago and extrapolating forward. Like, I don't know what they're doing. And for whatever reason, it was kind of saying the confidence was like, maybe it was low, but I don't think it was saying it was like zero confidence. But yeah, I sold that card for $345 buy it now when the alt value was calling it $146 on no data points. No data points. John Travolta had no idea what to look for or where to look. Whereas the Lugia V, like, I would not pay 85%. I would not pay 70% of my own comp on that Dark Raticate. I honestly wouldn't even want to buy that Dark Raticate. I would maybe pay 50% of the comp that I sold it for, because that was the high watermark. That was the only sale in the past year. I couldn't find any other data points. So that just goes to show you, market price isn't necessarily a thing. Lugia V with a pop of 9,500. Lugia V where maybe 10 are selling a day. Absolutely, I will pay you 80%. The best fit line, good job alt there. For whatever reason, your best fit line seemed to work. 350 seems reasonable. Again, I wouldn't hold myself to it. I wouldn't pay of the alt value. I would pay myself approximately last 5 sold average, somewhere in there. So continuing on, we've got our Gengar VMAX that we weren't very happy with on alt. A weird alt value that was just quite low. Again, I love everything they're doing. I just don't like the singular number. I'd rather, like, they have, what's the confidence? They have high confidence that it's between 468 and 567. 567 is closer, but like, it's higher than that in the 500. So don't marry yourself to any one single number. And the thing is, a lot of people probably asked alt, like, please put up a singular number. Like, people get so fixated on these need to be like stocks. These need to, like Apple stock is whatever it is. Let me Google really quickly on a different screen. Apple stock right now is 229. That is a fungible item. There are hundreds of millions of stock that are traded, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions traded daily. So these are not stocks. These are never going to be stocks. Stop trying to make singular market prices happen. Not going to happen, Gretchen. Continuing on, the Gengar VMAX, that one was calling it 515. This one is showing recent data points. Last sold. So this is saying average last 3 sold is 456. Sorry, I've got the yeah, I do have the wrong Gengar VMAX here. Let me see if I can get the proper Gengar VMAX. What's the number? I have one right next to me. 271. At first, I thought TCG Fish was giving me a really bad data point, but I just had the wrong card. So TCG Fish is showing that the average of the past 3 sold is actually 703. I don't know if that's accurate either. Man, we've got all kinds of issues around here. Let me pull up and see what mine are listed at right now. Gengar, there we go. I was gonna say, I think mine are listed. Maybe they're that high. No, I have some listed at 600. Some are listed at 590, 600. Yeah. So TCG Fish is not doing perfect either. I look up last sold. I see 590. I see my 620. I see a 580. I see a 599. I don't really see any 700s. I see my own 595 that was confirmed paid. So again, don't live or die by these data compilation websites, because they have issues at times. They are not perfect. They are fallible, like anyone, like any human. They are fallible, unfortunately. So continuing on, you've got CardLadder. Again, same card. This one's showing 575, which I believe is actually accurate. This one has its own way of doing it. It has all its own numbers. Like, shout out to all these websites. I wish I knew how to automate, how to scrape, how to pull in all this data. I just don't know how to do it. I'm glad you're doing it. But when you marry yourself, like if you want to say last sold, great. Disclaimer, we don't know if it's actually paid. You don't need to put that on every page. We kind of get that inherently. Not everyone does, but like as many people as will do. So, yeah, like keep doing what you're doing. Ideally, get a little bit better. But I understand you can't be perfect. Here's another Moonbryon one. I think we already did the Moonbryon. We did the Moonbryon. And then, yeah, I just wanted to show this. I think it's important to demonstrate actual examples of, like, market price is clearly not a thing. Stop trying to make singular data points happen, because it just can't. And like actionable in your daily Pokemon life, the amount of times that I see people saying like, hey Dan, or hey anyone, hey internet, hey Ethos, hey Discord, I have this random mid-era pop, low pop, super niche card. What's it worth? It's worth whatever you and a buyer agree to transact at. And once you guys transacted that, that means very little to anyone. Comps do matter. Look at the Lugia V. There are tons of them. That's more actionable. That's more realistic. That's more market price, plus or minus 5%, 10%. The Raticate, that's not an actionable price for anyone. If you own one, there might not be another buyer at 345. This sat for several months at 345 before it sold. If you're a buyer, you might have the next one might sell for 500. Who knows? I think it's pop. I think I said pop 9. Pop 9. They might all be locked away in collections. You might have to wait for the 10th one to be graded, and it might be graded by the most diamond hands person around. Next one might sell for 500. So 345 is a data point. It is not the market price. That price is over and done with. That transaction is closed. No one can action it. Here's another one. So here's a Gardevoir pop 69 PSA 10 reverse holo from Delta Species. Cool card, niche, mid-era, low pop card. One sold over a year ago at auction for 165. I sold one, buy it now. It had been listed for over a year and it sold for 195. Again, not actionable, all that good stuff. Yeah, it just is what it is. Prices, transactions are data points. You can't action them. If there are 20 on the market at or around the same price, you are more likely to be able to action them. But please reach out to me. Please reach out to me if you are selling any ultra modern sealed, any singles, raw, singles graded. I am always buying 70 to 85% of market price. We just went through the whole rant, the whole spiel. You should have an idea of what I mean. If it has not sold 10 times in the past month, I'm not buying it at 70 to 85%. There might be some random exceptional things that I will buy at or above that haven't transacted 10 times in the past month. But when I say 70 to 85%, like when I say good stuff priced well for collecticon vending conventions, I mean liquid stuff. Well, when I say good, I generally mean liquid. Liquid stuff that transact a lot. Things that transact like 10 times in a month at least. I will use this closing stages to shout out one thing. Graded Edge. I'm going to show you the full page. Full profitability. This is a Pokenomics Patreon exclusive website for the next few weeks, little while. I forget exactly the end duration for that, but here is what this does. It is a fallible tool. It will not capture every data point, but it will capture a lot of data points. It will scrape eBay. Recently, it started scraping TCGPlayer listings, and it will show you the raw price. It will show you can input your own grading price. It actually increases the grading price because it is a higher value card. It increases it approximately to the tier that you would have to pay at PSA. If you are able to grade only 60% PSA 10s and 40% PSA 9s, you can actually live change the numbers and say you grade exceptionally. You can change the numbers live and it will calculate the profit for you. You can see liquidity wise how many have sold in the past 7 days, 30 days, 90 days. And again, if you are using Graded Edge, if you're using any of these data compilation websites, if 10 have sold in the past 30 days, that is liquid enough generally for me to consider paying 70 to 85% on it. If it has not sold, if it's like our Eradicate there, I'm not interested in buying it even at 50% likely. If one data point happens and it was a buy it now at an exceptional price, 2-3 times the alt estimated value, I really don't buy those cards at 70 to 85%. I will consign them for you though. One last shout out here at the end. I will gladly consign them for you on Fanatics, on Fanatics Collect. Items exceeding $2,500 in sale price, I will net you 95% of the total sales price, including buyer's premium. If you want to take it hammer price method, 114% of the hammer price. 114 over 120 is the same as 95 over 100. But that is everything I have for today. I appreciate you all watching. I will catch you all later.